Hey, thanks for joining me today. Let's talk about how to speak more professionally at work. Why does this matter to you? Because in order to have more respect, to even make more money, to even have leadership positions and opportunities, we need to speak professionally at work. Thanks for joining me today. Have you ever seen the movie Office Space? Okay, so it's this corporate situation. It's like a parody of corporate life. And the funniest character is a guy named Milton. Milton is a bumbling idiot, and he's played perfectly by a guy named Stephen Root. And what's interesting about Milton is that he is incapable of communicating. He can't speak for himself. He just mumbles all the time under his breath. Eventually, they stop paying him, and he just keeps working. They shove him in the basement. He keeps working. He's worried just about his stapler, and he burns the whole place down. So, why is that funny? It's only funny because it's a parody. But it also proves the point that it's important to speak professionally at work, because then people will respect you, listen to you, give you opportunities. So hopefully you're not like Milton, and with this video, you're going to learn even better as to how you can speak more professionally at work. Here we go. So the first way to speak more professionally at work is to come prepared with something to say. For example, when you sit down in a meeting, obviously everybody's sitting there kind of positioning with their thing that they're going to do. Some people just sit back and say nothing, and other people have way too much to say perhaps. But when it becomes your turn, if you have something outlined, if you have slides ready, or maybe you have an object lesson, so you brought some props, say it articulately, and they will respect you. They will listen to you even more if you come with something really prepared. That will really help you in your opportunities in the office. The other one I like to talk about is to be a good audience for everyone else that's speaking. That's a really good idea. Here's why. While you're sitting there listening to all the other people with their great ideas, what's interesting is you can then formulate how that relates to your idea, or you can add to what they've just said. Some people are thinking so much about what they're going to say they don't listen to anyone else in the room. Now, this is to their disadvantage. It's so awesome when you hear someone say something and you realize, oh, I can add to that and I can make this conversation go even further. So that just brings us back to the idea of listening. Listening is so essential, and the best speakers I know are the best listeners. In fact, I've been known to say that I make a living as a speaker, but I make a life as a listener. In fact, I make a life as a listener to such a degree that as a musical impressionist, which is how I made my living for years, I had to listen to the smallest things in order to capture the signature moves of the artist I was impersonating. And so to become a masterful listener is such a great quality, and people will notice that's where leaders really come from. They're great listeners, and then they speak well. Also, people in business, well, everybody's got a different style, but if you want to be really taken serious and have more of an opportunity as a speaker, then dress the part. Maybe wear your clothes a little bit different, or get something a little bit nicer. I mean, I can honestly even say, while I'm sitting here breaking the fourth wall with you for a second, I bought this shirt for this camera. Like, I want you to look at me and go, oh, he cares about how he looks. And even if it's, not the best looking thing in the world, it's the best that I can do. And so your appearance matters. The way that you wear your clothes, the way that you sit, your posture, the way that you do your hair. I mean, for example, I got my hair cut before I did this video because I don't want to look sloppy on video. We don't want to look sloppy in our business situations either. That actually it helps us improve our speaking opportunities in the business and the corporate setting that we're in. And notice that I'm not just talking about speaking in general, I'm talking also about body language. For example, if you go on this channel, you can actually search how to use body language in public speaking. And that's a video that I really actually show you how you can use your body in order to manipulate what the audience is hearing. That helps you become a more professional type speaker in the workplace. And it does come through in your energy, your enthusiasm, the words that you use, the ones you choose really do matter. And history proves this, because there are people that have become iconic speakers because of the words they've chosen. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not a politician, I'm not a public speaker. That's okay. You're just trying to become more articulate articulate in the business place. And so as you become a better speaker working, these are some great examples I love to share. So after Pearl Harbor was bombed, it was 1941. Roosevelt was the president, and he had a speech prepared to go over the radio because this was way before the internet and all those things back in the 40s. He came on the radio and he said something very interesting. On his sheet it said, "A day that will live in history." And he thought to himself before he said that line, I think it's stronger than that if I use the word infamy. So infamy means famous for the wrong reason. So he said, "A day that will live in infamy," instead of "a day that will live in history." That's just a subtle change, but it made all the difference to being a speech that people quote forever about the power of one word changing the gravity of not only the sentence, but the meaning behind what he was asking the United States at that point to now do, which was, hey, now we're going to battle. He had to choose a strong word in order to actually shift the thinking of an entire population. It's a fascinating thing. Infamy, one word. It matters the words we choose. And then there was Winston Churchill, one of my favorite examples of a great speaker. Here's a guy who just chopped away at trying to figure out the best way to professionally get to a place as a speaker and as somebody in the workplace who could lead. Now, at the time that he said this next phrase, it was a fascinating time in the world. It was very difficult because in the place called Russia, there was a divide between the communist society and the free world. Winston Churchill's trying to think in his mind, how do I come up with the wording that everyone will understand that it is divisive, that it is a problem? And he was actually sitting on a train as he was going to his speech. And he was in the United States at the time. And he was looking up at the top of the train, and there was a curtain that divided him from the other people in the other class. And he looked up and he realized there was iron all around him. And so when he spoke about the iron curtain that divides us, that was something metaphorically in the mind of the listener that they could hear that and go, oh, I get exactly what he's saying. It is an iron curtain, it divides, and it is something that is tragic among the world over, and that led people to doing something significant. Your words matter. The energy and the enthusiasm with which you share them. Churchill is proof of that. Go check out some of the amazing recordings of him if you're interested in becoming more professional as a speaker at work. Okay, so we've now gone through some presidents, some ideas of words that we could change and so forth. We've talked a little bit about body language, but I want you to sit up, even in your chair, wherever you're watching this, and think about your posture. Think about what your body says while you're sitting there, because when you're a professional in the workplace, the way that you carry yourself really does matter. The way that we interact with people, the emotional intelligence, there's plenty of things that you could research about that, but think about for yourself how you sit, how your shoulders are back, how important it is to actually think, you know what, I'm going to present myself more professionally at work with both my words, my energy, my posture, my body, my clothing, my hair. There's a lot going on there, but it all matters. It all fits together. It's great to look interested in what everyone else is saying. It's also important to be interesting, you know? And so when you come with a quip, or a joke or something that's interesting to other people, then they'll be like, oh, she's always ready to say something cool when we're in a meeting. We need her in here. And that will elevate your opportunities every single time. Now let's talk about if we're not in person. For example, if you're on Zoom, oh, yeah, that's a whole different game, right? Now think about it. You've been on a Zoom call with someone who doesn't take it serious. You know that it's the person with the window in the back that's lighting them from behind and their face is dark. You know what I'm talking about. Or maybe they have a bad mic. Maybe they just don't take it serious. If you want to get to another level of being professional and presenting yourself that way in the workplace, then being good at Zoom is very important. It's good to have a good camera. Very important to have a good mic. But really, you need to think about lighting. Think about positioning. What's behind you? Look at this cool set we have. I mean, that's legit, right? We're taking it serious. You don't need something like this to make it work, though. You could have a green screen. Just do something that looks professional and like you care, and that will make a huge difference. And, you know, when it's your turn on Zoom especially, I mean, you want to say something that really lands, something that's important, but also, if you don't have anything important to say, then just sit there and smile and listen. What really bothers me as somebody who does a lot of Zoom calls and runs these, I always think, why is somebody's camera not on? Or why do they have it at that weird angle? And so take it serious, sit at the right spot, Just sit and smile if you have nothing better to say. Abraham Lincoln said, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and to remove all doubt." You don't want to prove him right on that, but I'll tell you what, that is such a great quote. Have you ever noticed that you thought somebody was really smart and then they said something really dumb at the wrong time? Oh man, we don't want to be that person. We don't want to be known as that guy. And so when you have the opportunity to speak, do your best to do all that we've talked about today. And hey, if you want some help with this, I would love to help you. I do coaching and mentoring and other things like that. Go visit jasonhewlett.com and let's talk about how we can help you to get better at speaking and more professional at work. Thanks for joining me.